The Sexual Assault Center and Fat Bottom Brewing partnered today to showcase an exhibit. It's an effort to stop victim blaming in sexual assault cases. It's called What Were You Wearing? WSMV's Danielle Ledbetter talked to a sexual assault survivor who says the exhibit can teach and empower.
Alexandra Nelson is a survivor and says by sharing her story, she's free and feels their support.
To look and to see that we're not alone. You know, I think as a survivor, when I started recognizing my story, I was like, wow, I'm the only person this has happened to. And that's not the case at all.
She says in many instances, there was shame and guilt associated with it.
Perpetrators of violence will use blame to shift their shame onto their victims who become survivors.
That leads to victim blaming.
Some people want to just point the finger. They want someone to blame. And the person to blame is the person who is doing the violence. It's never on the victim, no matter what they're wearing, doing, or the environment that they were in.
Nelson says that's the importance of this exhibit. The goal is to shift the focus from what sexual assault victims were wearing to putting an end to sexual assault and violence.
When I went through the exhibit for the first time, to be honest, as a survivor, I was very scared.
Inside the exhibit, you'll see what sexual assault victims were wearing during their event and their personal stories.
I really left it feeling much stronger and much more held than I did going into it.
The exhibit is based on the poem What I Was Wearing by Dr. Mary Simmerling. She writes, if only it were so simple, if only we could end rape by simply changing clothes. And that's the main point the exhibit aims to make.
To come out to this event is to take that power back, because it's not our shame to hold as survivors. The power we have within ourselves to share with others and make that connection with others where it's like, hey, me too, is very powerful, and that provides a lot of healing. It definitely did for me.
Nelson says other sexual assault survivors can find that too. She suggests start by telling one person you trust.
To navigate that these days, it's important to be vocal. And when a victim is able to tell their story and become a survivor and share their truth, and when people believe them and lean in and listen, it empowers them to go forward through life, where that's just a chapter of their story. It's not the entire story.
The exhibit is happening at Fat Bottom Brewing today and tomorrow from 11 until 8. Now, the Sexual Assault Center says that the exhibit may be triggering to some, but they will have resources on site. In Nashville, Danielle Ledbetter, WSMV4.